I am Moses. Thank you. I've waited my entire life for just the right outfit to say that in. So, under this sacred crystal above our head, and you phantom freaks, don't worry, it won't come down. And in this hallowed hall of music, and with the flower of the hour, I warm you and wish your buds well. Did I say that? So, good morning, Class 210. And thank you, President Buffington, members of the Board of Trustees, esteemed faculty, and all members of this vital institution for honoring me today. I'd like to begin, let's say, by telling you that you of arts, how happy I am to be in the company of so many people who live for art, through art, and with art in every day, as I try to do myself. And to be here in the school, which has given my company Momix some of its most inventive dancers. You've heard them before, but Brian Sanders, Renee Jaworski, Aaron Elliott, John Corsa, David Dillo, and Pedro Silva. I'm very grateful to everyone who makes this school such an incubator of creative talent in all fields. I must tell you that I reread President Buffington's address to the class of 2008 on the subject of nerve. And I was so inspired by that I thought if I had the quote, nerve, I would read it verbatim, because I do think the entire speech is worth a second listening. So I thought if I did it well and creatively in my own fashion, we might start a new ritual of the annual reading of the Buffington speech. It could be, and then I thought it could be like the night before Christmas. And then there could be a committee to select an honorary candidate to read from the famous Buffington address on nerve. And just maybe the entire student body could learn it and we could all chant it together. Oh, well, I got to where I am today because of cows. You saw a picture of one, I think. Not just any cows, but a Holstein Friesian milking cow. I grew up on a farm in the northeast kingdom of Vermont, and I thought I would follow my father into farming. His dream was to create the perfect Holstein Friesian cow, and his passion became mine. Our desire for this was so great that my father believed it was perfectly fine to pull me out of school anytime one of our Holsteins was to be seen by the vet or about to give birth, or in fact for any special Holstein event. I was his favorite son, and I was ready to take up my life's dream until one hot summer day in July, he took his own life, and I was 12 years old. A few years later, instead of staying on this farm during haying season, my mother sent me to Mount Hood, Oregon, to learn how to be a ski racer and to train with the Austrian ski team. My coaches, Andrew Molterer and Pepe Gransheimer, were my surrogate fathers. They taught me to defy the laws of gravity, as well as the thrill of going very fast downhill, to fly like an eagle in rarefied air. And they would always shout at me, "Moses, do you dare? Do you dare?" I went to Dartmouth as an English major, not because it was an Ivy League school, but to train with the coach of the U.S. Olympic team, Al Merrill, known as the Silver Fox. Part of the preseason training at Dartmouth consisted of members of the ski team playing soccer against one another. And since the ski team didn't have a clue how to play soccer, they ended up kicking each other more than the ball. And so on that second day of ski training in my freshman year at Dartmouth, I was kicked in the shin so hard that my tibia was shattered, and with a cast up to my thigh, so ended my chances of making any U.S. Olympic ski team. At that time, Dartmouth was still an all-male school, but they hired a beautiful young woman who had just graduated from UCLA to teach dance. Her name was Allison Chase, and I thought if there was a way to strengthen my leg, and it might be through dance. So I went to the class and realized that Allison looked a lot better than my ski coach, Al. So I was definitely going to take this class. Our dance class was full of male college athletes, jocks, if you will. They all wore jeans, I'm not kidding you, they all wore jeans because some of the guys had to tell Allison that their parents would leave them, take them out of school, take away their tuition if they found out that they wore tights, since they believed that, quote, real men don't dance. The irony was that most of us thought we might meet some women or some beautiful thing and through this dance, but instead we ended up dancing with each other. Real men dancing with real men. There was all this fantastic athletic ability in that class, and we learned to transform the athletic into the aesthetic. And since we had no formal training and we had no idea how to dance on our own 2 feet, we tended to hold on to each other for support and begin to see the results in terms of body sculpture. One day, as 3 of us were waiting for a 4th to show up, Steve, the pole vaulter, who by the way now is a neurosurgeon in Seattle, showed me an exercise that the track team used to call a backover. It's used to stretch out the spinal column. It takes 2 people to do it, and as he showed me this exercise, we realized it was kind of funny to look at. We tried it with Steve, taking 2 people on our back rather than 1, and we formed this mandala-like shape that we thought was very funny and in a poetic way, and we saw it in the mirror. The next day, we took it back to our teacher, not realizing that a new way of thinking about dance movement had begun. I honestly wonder if without that day, that first Pilobolus movement would ever have been born. Write that poem, paint that picture, design that website, whatever it is that you do, you need to bring this awareness that we are much more than we think we are, that we are connected to a greater world. To be human is to be aesthetic. To be human is to be sentient. We are here to let people know and give them hope that they should smell and taste and see and thrive. It's not about survival, though that is definitely an issue. It's about thriving. We should expect more of each other and of ourselves, and to take the higher road, take the heroic mode, sing that song of yourself, go out into that self, cut. Why not unplug for a while? Go out into the wilderness, or go out into the wilderness wired. But find your voice, be inspired, and come back and share these good findings. Share that voice with friends and your enemies. Make contact with your world and make contact with your gods. So, with a name like Moses, it was suggested that I give you a set of commandments. If you would allow me to give one commandment, it would be the Buffington nerve to break whatever artistic commandments limit our collective imagination, as well as the courage to obey those that foster it. But don't set them in stone. Write them in water, for water always finds a way around or through whatever tries to stop it. So find a way around the world. The world desperately needs you to do this. So, what are we waiting for? Commence. Spout the good news, good harvest, and good day.